Everybody, one more time. Sohla, everybody, yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys. This is amazing because I never leave the house. So the fact that you all left the house, everybody's a winner here, in my eyes.
Yeah. Thank y'all for being here, man. We just to give you some insight, we kind of turned up here. We had a dope green room. We've been talking back there. It's fun. We learned Sohla has a favorite word. If you want to say it.
Well, I'm trying to make sure that this word is my baby's first word.
Okay.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
You hold your seats.
It's what we call our dogs. It's what we call her. Idiot. It's a term of endearment, you know?
Yeah.
So we just keep calling her a little idiot, and hopefully that's the first thing that comes out of her mouth.
She's also like 9 weeks. So that's,
Yeah.
So when
We
that
got
book
plenty
signing
of
comes,
time.
you get that book signing, y'all get called the idiot inside the book.
Yes.
That's
It
love,
means that I
right?
care.
That's true love.
Yeah.
But obviously we're here to talk to you about the book. We'll get to that. But this is your first time here in Chicago. How does it feel? What's been going on?
I just got here.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving right after.
Yeah. Right. You missed the traffic, so. That's
Right.
good. Yeah.
It's because it's Sunday.
That is. I forgot. I don't even know what day it is. I don't work a corporate job anymore, so. But, yeah. Some people out there like me. But no, it's good. It's good to have you here. Excited to have this book tour happen here in Chicago. How you feel about everything going on right now?
Well, we established that my baby's 9 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's crazy.
how I feel.
Are there anyone with a parent in this crowd? Guys, I can't see your hand, so you gotta give me a clap or something. Okay, there we go. A lot of parents, so they can relate.
Yeah, so I haven't slept in more than 9 weeks because the last trimester you just don't sleep because you're just giant. So you can't really do a whole lot. So I haven't slept, and that's it. That's how I feel. Sleepy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Only 18 more years. You good. You got
Yeah.
it.
No, she's out of here in
Yeah,
less time
it's
than
like
that.
16. She's
That
out.
idiot.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I kind of want to jump right into the book because I feel like that's why everyone's here to talk about this. It's a big boy.
You don't have to hold it the whole time.
Well, we established that I ate a big meal, so I'm holding it. It's large.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first thing I noticed, I know some people pre-ordered it, but if you don't have it yet, this needs to be wallpaper in my apartment. Because it's absolutely gorgeous. Like from the beginning, the book is absolutely beautiful, and then the first page is
Thank
just
you.
gorgeous. What went into let's just talk about the aesthetics, the color. Do you love color? What was the vibe?
Well, with the design, we started with the interior, and the priority was to make it accessible because I'm a really bad reader. And a bad writer. As I was trying to sign their books in the back, there's a error on every single one. Sometimes I spell my own name wrong. So
It's on the front. That's
yeah.
That's print.
So I wanted to make sure things were really clear, easy to see, because the book is so big. I really wanted different colors to highlight each chapter so that you always know where you are. The goal was to make it easy to use, so the font's really big, and it was kind of a scary decision because it's not the coolest book in town, and I know that, but I wanted you to be able to read it.
Yeah.
That was it.
You know what's funny is you say it's not the coolest book. I would say it's probably the most functional book because you made this for people that can't cook, me. So you and I like it a lot. And inside the book, you talk a lot of candid about your experience in high school and what college did for you. And how does this book feel as a slap in the face to those people that didn't think you might do this right here?
Like when you dropped out of college, the people that said you should have never dropped out of college. How does this feel?
I mean, it's weird. I always think that by doing something, I'll feel better. But it doesn't matter what I do. I never feel better because it's just how it is. Accomplishments don't make you happy.
That's,
I got to fix something bigger
Yeah.
inside. I'm
Yeah.
just okay, guys.
Here you go. Here you
That's
go.
why we have tissues.
No, but I think it's also because different people define success in different ways. So like for you, yes, this is a huge accomplishment, but maybe your success in life is like raising a happy child. And you know what I
don't
mean?
know,
Like,
man.
who knows?
I don't know.
Wow. I don't know about that kid.
I don't know. Well, it's like, it's weird. We never really wanted to have a kid. It was like a last minute decision. Because, well, we were always in restaurants, so it didn't seem possible to have kids because of the hours that you work. And because we've both transitioned out of it and we have more flexible hours, we were like,
Why not try this? This little,
you know? So because there aren't all these like hopes and dreams attached to her, I don't like care what she does. I just want her to be healthy.
Yeah. I think
that's
that's the healthiest approach.
That is.
Yeah, I feel like as a child of a minority person, there was a lot of pressure. Like not going to college was never an option. I didn't even know that people didn't go to college. Like it was, and
I just knew I didn't know how fast I would get there.
but yeah, I love that piece of kind of like personal history, and it reads like. If you are reading it that way, it could read like a textbook, and I absolutely love that. Like in our household, I cook, Dario doesn't, and this would be the perfect thing for you to kind of start.
Out here. Calm down, all right? Relax.
But why was it a choice to kind of write it in that way?
You know, I really wanted to make the book I wish I had when I started. Because a lot of cookbooks, it's almost like you got to learn a new language before you can even get the most out of a cookbook. You know, because I remember being a kid and I really struggled with learning how to make pie. Because every recipe tells you to cut butter into flour. And that doesn't make sense if you've never made pie or seen
folding
anyone
the
make
cheese.
pie. Yeah. So
Fold the cheese, yeah.
I wanted to make sure that there weren't any. I didn't want to leave anyone out. So that's why I tried to make the language really clear and the titles really clear. And it's like a little bit scary because it's not very trendy. But I'm hoping that people I'm a second. What's the word when you don't learn English first?
Second language?
Second language?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm right. I don't know.
So I want to make sure all the folks like me who are bad with words, bad with language, maybe English isn't your first language, that you can get what's in there.
Yeah.
Do you find though, look, we got the full house here and you got a lot of people that's going to purchase the book. I think that's way more relatable. I think we needed a book like that because I can tell you one thing, I make a mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? And I feel like I could find it in this book and feel okay to myself. You know what I mean?
I didn't put that in the book.
Well,
Maybe the
there's
next
a second
one.
edition, second print.
Oh, wait, no, there's an Uncrustable in there.
There you go.
Stop it.
There you go.
Peanut
Stop
butter
it.
and jelly
It is
Uncrustable
over.
is one of the little side recipes. There's a
all
lot
I'm
of
doing.
little side recipes if you...
Oh yeah, it also has like side quests within the recipes. Like it is just incredible. For someone that even enjoys video games, this is like a great, I'm just saying, it feels like I'm on a main quest, but also side quests.
Do you remember those books where it's like choose your adventure?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a great cookbook
That
style.
you just
right?
kind of wrote it. This is a
and
choose
maybe
your
the
own
next one I'll
adventure.
just go full into that.
Full
you know?
send.
Like
Full
the
send choose your own
Goosebumps.
adventure, yeah.
You pick the wrong lane and you die.
You could. Well, there's technique about how to make chicken, so you probably won't die in this book.
Probably won't.
Yeah. That's good.
There's also a section that you have. I wrote this one down, y'all. If y'all look through the book, man, page 368. I had to write this one down. There's a section that said, "What the hell happened?" And what's crazy about it is I was reading that one part and I was like, man, I don't know what the hell's going on. And then I get to that and I'm like, what the hell happened? I don't know. You know what I mean? So you really did cater. Like, what was the thought process when you were making this book? It almost reads as if you are talking to somebody like how we are right now, and which I think is better. What was the thought process going behind that?
Well, what's great with being online and getting a lot of feedback from folks is whenever I put a recipe out there, people tell me right away, like, my rice is undercooked or my pasta didn't get glossy. And because I've gotten so much feedback like that, I tried to predict it in my head for the really hard recipes, not for all of them, because some of them it's like, what the hell happened? It's like, you just needed to cook it longer.
Right.
You know? But for some really difficult recipes, I tried to put it in there. And also, I've done those things. Like one of the recipes is for tadig,
Oh, yeah.
which is like a Persian rice dish where tadig means bottom of the pot. So it's the tadig is like the crunchy bit at the bottom, and it's not always rice. It can be like potatoes or bread or lettuce. But my favorite is when it's with rice, and it is super hard to make. And I messed it up so many times. So I made all the mistakes, and I kind of learned from them and gave you a little guide. So when you make those mistakes, you'll be like, oh, okay, I know what the hell happened.
Yeah, that makes. Well, you mentioned that, and I was looking through the salad section, and I saw a Waldorf salad, and then the page following that was like a saffron citrus bitter lettuce. And so you have a lot of those like super classic recipes that a lot of people might recognize, and then some stuff that just seems super creative, or like maybe something that you developed. How did you pick the recipes? There's like over 200 in this book. That's wild.
Well, I was just thinking about technique first. So since each chapter is focused on a technique, the goal for the recipes was to teach you those techniques. So I thought about what I wanted each recipe to teach and then went backwards.
That's so smart. That's so good. I love that.
In the book, what is I couldn't imagine putting something together like this, like in order to like teach somebody, especially you coming from school that dropped out, almost dropped out, right? And to put out a book.
She went back.
I know, that's what I said, almost.
Well, it was a full dropout, technically.
But to put something together, like to teach people how to cook, like how hard was that to like place certain things in certain orders?
That was the hardest part. So it actually took me a year to come up with an outline, and it was a very detailed outline. Like it took me a very long time to just decide on the core techniques, because it initially, if I did all of them, it would have been like 4 times that size. So like really narrowing it down, and then once I decided on the techniques, just thinking about what order to put it in based on, they build on each other. So like you need to know how to season before you even touch heat.
Yeah.
So that's why that's first, and try to build on each other, and then it took a really long time to figure out exactly what the dishes were. And within each chapter, for the technique, there's like a thorough breakdown of how to do it. So it was like a very, very detailed outline of basically what should be in like every paragraph before I started writing. And then when I wrote, the whole book came together like in 3 months, like the actual writing. But the outline part took forever.
What's forever? Like how many?
It was a full year for the outline, and then like 3 months for the recipes, 3 months for the book, and then like another year and a half for post-production.
Wow.
The post-production takes forever.
Yeah, like that's like taking the pictures and like doing that stuff, or
Well, the photos we did in 3 weeks, but then there's editing and then like the actual design and layout. So because the book is a little bit different, so the way a lot of cookbooks work is you make a template for one recipe or one chapter, and then you just kind of drop everything into that template. But we couldn't really use a template because every single recipe is different. So the production team had to design every single page.
Oh, wow.
wow.
So it was really hard. And then it's twice the size of one book, and they had to do it in the time of one.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So do you
So I
still have a
didn't
good
make a mix.
relationship
So if
with
she
them?
doesn't walk,
Like man.
yeah. Do they still like you? That's
I really gotta get him something.
Yeah.
I was busy with the
every
baby,
one of you
but-
better buy this book because that is a lot of work. That is crazy. So the first, you talked about like teaching taste, and it's like for people that don't necessarily, if you don't have like an intuitive feel for food, right? A lot of people can like eyeball, or they can just tell you. Like my mom doesn't write, and there's no recipes. Arab people just
that's how I
throw
grew up.
things in pots and it makes food.
I don't think my mom's read a recipe once
Ever.
in her life.
Yeah, never.
She doesn't know what my job is.
So I love that taste chapter because, like, as someone that I think I can intuitively tell if something tastes good or not, but like Dario can't. Just saying. So that would be like helpful for him. But then
That's
you
two
have
times now. All right? We done been here for 10 minutes now. All right?
but then you have the part about tools. So like you break down all the tools in the kitchen, right? There's a ton of them in there. But like, what are your maybe 5 that you are non-negotiables?
My 5 non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables.
You gotta have a big, good, thick cutting board.
That is what
Could
you
have
said.
it could have gone in a different direction, but I think you got to invest. A good wooden cutting board is expensive, but it will last you forever. Like literally forever. Don't get those thin bamboo ones from IKEA. At least 1.5 inches. You don't need end grain. End grain is when the wood is like, you know, you got like a 2x4 and you chop it up and then you turn it on its edge and then stick them together. You don't need that. Yeah. But a regular thick wooden cutting board, the great thing about it is if you get any nicks or dents or anything, you can just sand it out. But with the plastic board,
Just like refinish it after you sand it?
it's just raw wood.
Oh, okay.
So you can just sand it, and then you need to regularly oil your board. You could just get regular mineral oil. You don't want to use vegetable oil because it'll go rancid, and it will last forever. With a plastic board, when you get a lot of like cuts in there, you know, grooves over time, the bacteria actually like hides in there and thrives and will secretly come back to kill you.
So many ways to die. Yeah.
So get a good cutting board. The next one is you need a really big bowl. A bigger bowl than you think.
That is so true.
The biggest bowl you can find. Okay. You need room to like toss a salad. You need room to like whisk. No one has a big enough bowl or big enough board. Just like go bigger.
What's the biggest you can get now? Now that I'm wondering, like what?
Like really big.
Like-
you know, like the ones they make kimchi in? They're like huge.
Sure.
They have all sizes.
Bigger than that?
No, just you know,
So kimchi is the cutoff.
Well,
Okay.
you can,
big enough to fit a baby.
that's good.
Yeah, Halloween is over. All right.
You can hug it.
Yeah. I got it.
And then you need a knife. And the chef's knife is totally up to you. Like, what is a good chef knife to you? Because when I worked in restaurants, people use like slicers as their chef's knife or cleavers as their chef's knife. So it doesn't have to be like that classic German Wusthof thing anymore. Whatever you want to do the majority of your cutting with. And whatever you can keep sharp. Because I know that it's really cool to get like a fancy Japanese knife, but if you can't sharpen it, just don't. Just get what you can sharpen. That's all that matters. And then I love a nice rubber spatula. The one from the Restaurant Supply, very stiff. And I love my tweezer tongs.
That's a good list.
I feel like I can cook now.
Yeah.
Like,
That's all you need.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good list.
Slight transition here, because I want to go back to this book is real. Hey, anybody, y'all know y'all probably got the book. Clap it up if you got the book. Yeah. And you probably just got it. I don't know if you looked into the book, but there was one part in here, and I had to bring this up because it's interesting. You said in the book that you almost failed because you didn't know how to read an analog clock.
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
Yeah, tell her. Yeah, what's going on there?
So your final in culinary school is a cooking exam, and you get like 3 hours, and you have to make. You don't know exactly what you have to make. You have to plan for like 5 different things, and it's like something really French, like fricassee, and like pilaf or bouffe bourguignon, something like that. And it's timed, and you have to deliver it at the time. And I just didn't know how to use the clock. So I thought I had an extra half an hour. And actually, I did fail, and they let me take it again.
Nice.
With a digital clock.
I like what I had to do is I like asked him where the handles will be when I'm done. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow. So you really didn't know how to read an analog clock?
I mean, sometimes I can.
Which one? The analog one is the one that.
Don't do this.
No one
Don't do
has
this.
it anymore. No one
Don't do this.
I thought the analog was the one with the numbers, where
That's
like
digital.
it's 18. And
She never
zero.
living this down.
I'm just.
Promise you that.
No, I think the next generation of kids aren't even gonna know what it is.
Yeah. I just go, hey Siri, what time is it? And that's it.
Yeah, like no one knows how to use a map anymore. So many skills
How
you
old
don't
are
need.
y'all? Like, what is going on? Like, what?
Young as hell. I don't know what to tell you.
What is going on here?
I do not.
We live
Y'all
in
know
the
how to read analog clock?
post maps era.
Some of y'all like, I'm hit or miss. All right. Okay.
I guess
know
you
how to
wouldn't have
read
failed.
She said, I got a book.
Do you have a book?
I was in a book.
It doesn't. Well, that's not the same. Not the same. Your forward was another cool story that you wanted to share. Was your forward was written by Samin, which love Samin. You said you had a little story you wanted to share.
Well, so I'm like, food media was like a new thing for me because I was more into restaurants. So I went into food media after my restaurant closed, and I didn't like know anyone in it, and I didn't know anything about it because I was just obsessed with all the fancy chefs. And then I went to the IACP Awards just as an audience member, and I just kept hearing Sami Nosrat's name because she won everything that year. And I was like, who is this person? Because Nosrat, my first name, my real first name is actually Nusrat. But I changed it because no one could say it, and it got really frustrating. And then I just kept hearing like a very close version of my name pronounced properly over and over again at this big thing, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. She made everyone learn that name.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then I got her book, and I was like, oh, okay, I get why she won everything.
She is good, yeah.
So it was great when she wanted to write the foreword. I asked her for a blurb, and she's like, no, I'm going to write the foreword. And I was like, all right, cool.
She's the best.
Wow.
I don't even know her, but she's the best.
Well, I mean, she makes great food. We know that.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a cool story.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's the power of representation for you. Yeah, for
Maybe
real.
I should, it made me feel like in Parks and Recreation, Tom Haverford was talking about how he changed his name because he was like, I never thought a brown guy with a Muslim kind of name would do well in politics. And they were like, what about Barack Obama?
That's so true. So like my actual name is Sara, but I just say Sarah because like it's so much easier and it's written the same. So
You can just change it like how Hassan Minaj
yeah,
and Padma,
yeah.
they
that's
just
true.
have people pronounce their name properly
like
now.
Sara.
Yeah, just change it.
I should.
I'm going to stick with Sohla.
Okay.
I like it.
Man, so we are at the beginning of like a book tour here, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So.
Book came out on Tuesday.
Yeah. And
It's crazy.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's crazy.
What are you most excited for? I mean, because this is you got a new shorty, you got a book out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just life is happening fast. How do you feel?
I'm just working on the next book
Are
Yeah.
you really?
because I just like to go to the next thing. I like to do the thing, and I don't really think about it once it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you don't like actors don't watch their movies. They just
I mean, I've read the book. I flagged all the mistakes. We're gonna fix it on the reprint. So buy this printing out so we can reprint
look
it.
for them. Read every page so you can
Oh.
find the mistakes.
If you find a mistake, please.
Post it on your story and tag her. No.
I don't see my DMs, but no, but post it in feed and then tag me. I see that. And we're gonna fix all the typos together.
I don't believe that. No. Nothing but smoke in the comments. No, but you say you are working on the next book already. Wow. Is it bigger than this or?
It can't
Well, I
be
haven't
bigger
made
than
it yet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know how big it's
I'm
gonna be.
thinking thought process wise. Like, what are we? Is this chapter 2? Like coming up? Like book
Volume
2? Volume 2? My bad. Come on now.
No, I can't talk about it yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Fair,
That's
fair,
fair.
enough. Fair enough.
Okay, cool.
Fair enough. There's pop quizzes in this book.
There are pop quizzes.
Pop quizzes.
I felt like a pop
I
quiz.
hate pop quizzes. I wouldn't have done that to you.
That's what I thought you were
Premeditated
doing. I was
quiz.
like, what's going on here? No, but there are like little moments. I think Sarah kind of touched on it already. Like this book, once you see it, it is a textbook.
Yeah.
It is like written like a textbook. All I could think was that she had a vendetta against all her
School?
teachers. School, yeah.
I guess that was the motivation. I really hated culinary school.
Yeah. Why did you hate it?
You don't actually learn anything.
That's interesting.
And it's very expensive. And I only got out of debt after getting famous.
That's crazy.
You shouldn't have to get famous to get
Yeah.
out of debt.
No,
That's
you
so
shouldn't.
stupid.
Yeah.
School is too expensive.
For real.
Oh, wow. Are we all in debt here?
Louder for the dead.
wow.
Now you know why I work for Coca-Cola.
I mean, you gotta pay off your debt somehow.
But with food, you don't need to go to school.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to work in a restaurant, just get a terrible job in a restaurant, and eventually you'll get a better job in a restaurant. You know what I mean? If you want to get into media nowadays, you don't need a big institution to
Right.
take a chance on you. You can just go online and make your own content. None of us need these old institutions
That's
anymore.
very
They're
true.
just ripping us off.
That's very true. Yeah.
Very true.
I mean,
You guys really hate school.
literally,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
like we talk about this all the time Dario worked retail for 20 years. I worked logistics for almost 10. And then one day we just made a podcast, and then people started listening to it, and then now we're on stage in front of us, many people talking about food. Like, it literally doesn't even matter. And, you know, people will say, oh, like, you need media training or a communications degree or whatever. We don't. We didn't.
Do it from my bedroom if y'all wondering.
Media training just makes you sound like a robot.
Correct.
That's very true.
Nobody wants that.
No one wants that. Yeah. But so another part of the book that I like is towards the end, where you have suggested ways to put the recipes together to create a vibe, right? I'm summing it up, but it's basically like, you know, you can.
There's a meal if you want to cry.
Right. My favorite one is like if you're sitting on the couch, like you want to rot on your couch. Do you want to cry? That's my favorite one. So like, what was the idea behind that?
Well, so a lot of when you do recipe development, typically what the recipes that like sell, people want one recipe meals, because that's how a lot of people in this country eat, where it's like you put everything in one plate or one bowl or whatever. But I grew up where you eat like a table filled with a bunch of little things. So I really wanted to give you a chance to do that to your table. Like growing up, we never had less than like 5 things on the table, and that was like a night where my mom wasn't trying very hard.
Literally, there was at least like pickles and bread and a salad accompanying everything else. Yeah, and like olives or something.
Exactly, like our core table was like rice, dal, a couple of vegetable things like a raita, a salad, a meat, a fish. My mom was always
After
double
10 hours of work, just casually.
Yes. And I feel like it just doesn't feel like a fun meal to me without that. So I wanted to give you like some outlines for how to do that yourself.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite go-to cry meal?
That's a good question.
Popcorn.
You have a really cool popcorn recipe in here. I think it's in the part where you sit on your couch and rot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so I've made popcorn a lot. And I feel like I've figured out exactly how to make it. So I use a whirly pop. I like to use clarified butter, a lot of clarified butter. Okay. So like for a third of a cup of popcorn, I use like half a cup of clarified butter. No, but then you don't need to add more fat after. It's like self-buttering. Because you know when you add melted butter it gets soggy.
Yeah, that's
so
very true.
you're just going to pop it in all the butter. You don't have to butter it after. And then you know how sometimes it gets soggy, even after all that. Yeah. To combat the sogginess, you need a 2-bowl method. This is why you need your big bowls. Okay. You pour all of your popcorn into one bowl, and then you put the seasoning on it, and then you do this thing where you go from one bowl to the other.
To mix.
And that mixes it, and also releases all the steam, so it's very, very crispy.
These are...
Huh?
Wow.
Very good. That's very good.
I took years to figure this out.
We all gonna be in the same hospital. I promise you that. Yeah, I promise you that. Yeah.
I actually don't know if that method is even in the book. I think that method's too new for the book.
Is that part 2? Is the volume 2 book?
I don't know yet.
Okay, all right. Man.
I mean, you even have it broken down on how to prep the like combo. So like 2 days before, make the popcorn. The day before, make the
2-day
dough.
popcorn.
No, that's like
if you're prepping for like an event.
I'm not prepping for no event that long with popcorn.
Like I would do it all in an hour. You guys have seen us cook in an hour. But I know that can feel overwhelming, so I wanted to break it down to make it so that anyone can put together like a feast if you just like plan a little bit. So you don't have to like be frazzled and spend 12 hours in your kitchen the day before people come.
And just like not enjoy the actual like party and you're just
What's your favorite thing in here? Not to make and cook, but to teach people to cook.
She just gave you the popcorn.
I mean, aside from the popcorn, that's it. People ain't gonna go home and do that. Like, are y'all? Y'all better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
also,
how
now
y'all
different.
To make
I promise you that. But you know what I mean. Like, what's a
cool
dish?
trick?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's a cool trick until people tell me. You know what I mean? Except the popcorn. That one I knew.
That's legendary.
Because a lot of it's really like, you do it so much that you don't get what's cool anymore.
Yeah. Tell us more about this bowl. All right, like where's your bowl from? Like
Restaurant Supply.
Yeah, you did say that.
Are regular people allowed there?
Everyone's allowed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some places you need like a little card. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask about? Your dessert section. You have a hefty dessert section, or sweets, let's say.
It's not a section.
Okay.
It's 50-50.
Correct. It is.
Right? Because the section makes it feel like it's inside of the rest of the book. So
Yes.
it's equal savory and equal sweet.
And you did that on purpose. You said in the introduction that a lot of cookbooks don't have, it's just like at the tail end of the book. So what was the point behind that?
I mean, I've been lucky. I got to work both sweet and savory a lot of different times in my career. And I think it's really fun to be able to do both. But I also, more importantly, I think it makes you better to be able to do both. Because a lot of things do translate. Like a lot of the cool chefs out there are incorporating like a savory caramel with like fish or something like that. But it's also the way you cook savory is more improvisational and it's more touch and feel, and you don't want to be too precise. Precision is actually going to hinder you if you are like being exact, like my onion doesn't weigh 8 ounces, I need another onion. Like that's bad. Yeah. But with pastry, you have to be super precise. I recommend grams for everything. And that you have to be really precise. You have to follow directions. You gotta be a scientist, and being able to do both kind of like balances you out, like as a better cook. Like a little bit of that improv from savory kind of seeps into your pastry cooking when you do both, and vice versa. And also so I used to fence. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like the sport?
Yeah, but it's gonna come back to food.
Okay.
I swear. I used to fence, and I'm right-handed. Okay. But to practice, we would practice on our left side. Because if you strengthen your weak side, your strong side gets stronger. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing. So if you feel like you're really bad at pastry, get in there, try it a little bit, and it's going to make you better on your strength. I swear. I promise.
That's a bar.
Yeah, for real.
That's a bar, because I'm horrible on my right side of baseball. Like,
oh, you got to do it on your left.
I do, and
I'm
horrible when I go back to my
It'll
right.
level up your balance, your aim, everything.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I promise you that. We got a few minutes before we get to Q&A for you all, but this book is fantastic. We love the book. They got the book. For the people that did not get the book, tell them one more time why to get it, and then we get into some questions here.
You have to buy the book because I have to feed a baby.
There it is. You got her.
Nobody arguing with that one. Yeah.
No. And then if you buy the book, if you buy it today, you get to be called an idiot in your little.
I can sign idiot on everyone's.
And everyone's book. Yeah. Any upcoming projects that people can look forward to?
Oh yeah. Okay, there's a bunch, but
okay.
I got History Channel.
Hey.
Okay.
Season of Ancient Recipes. And it's really fun because this round we got a historian for every single episode. So it's if you like history, we leveled up the nerdiness 10 times.
Let's go. Yeah.
I love that.
We love that.
Yeah, we love history.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And then I've got a masterclass coming out, I think next week.
Oh, nice.
It's with Masterclass. It's all about breakfast, and it was very fun because it was produced by the same team that does Big Brunch.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully we can do that again if the strike ends.
Hey. For real. Oh, amazing, man.
Awesome.
Well, hey,
And then
congratulations.
there's a new series coming out with New York Times.
Wow.
And guys, I shot all of it while I was 9 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
It was all in the final month of pregnancy, so I'm not pregnant again.
Yeah.
FYI, when you watch
Okay.
this. I feel like people are gonna think I've been pregnant for 3 years.
That's your shtick. You got to sell books so you keep getting pregnant to feed these babies. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Should we get some questions? Maybe. We're waiting for a person to come with a mic, but
Yeah, thank you so much for coming out, everybody.
Where's
If
that
you do
voice
have a
coming
question,
I don't know.
Well, it's like God speaking to me. I'm like, what's going on?
God?
We
if
can
you
just
have
go
a
here.
question,
Oh, there we
please
go.
raise
Up
your
there.
hand
There,
and we will come to you.
Sola. We
am I
got
breaking
it. Yeah.
You're the celebrity.
I'm sorry.
It is your show, but I do have some rules. So please raise your hand. We'll come to you with a microphone. Please speak slowly and clearly into the microphone. And your first question is back here where I'm standing.
Hello, thank you. So I'm trying to adapt a lot of Shauna Sever recipes, so this is a twofer.
Okay.
One, she uses a lot of baby food in her marshmallow recipes for adults. So I'm curious, as you have a new baby, I'm curious if you have any adult uses for baby food that you're already thinking about. And then two, at what point when you're adapting a recipe, from someone else, do you feel like that's your own and that you could publish that under your name and feel like you've adjusted enough that recipe for you to call it your own?
Okay, two parts. How do I adapt? How do I use baby food for an adult?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
We're going the opposite direction. You know what I mean? She's eating adult food that's just been mashed. And everything that falls on the floor will be eaten by the dogs. Okay, and then the other part, I think it's like, whenever I'm like working on something, like when I worked on the pound cake, the way that I start is I'll make all the best pound cake recipes. So I might make like 10 or 12 different pound cakes that are already published. And then you learn something from each one. Like, I like the leavening in this. I like the crumb here. I like the height of this one. And you kind of put it all together, and then it kind of becomes your own because especially with baking, you usually are starting somewhere. With savory, it's different because a lot of things are like established or there's like a million mac and cheese recipes. What makes it your mac and cheese recipe? The way you write it. I think it really comes down to the writing because everyone has a different voice in a way that they explain something. Because at the end of the day, it's all very similar. You know what I mean? It's just about how you teach it. That's when it becomes yours, when you teach it in a unique way. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was
think
good.
so.
That was good.
Okay, cool.
Our next question is down here to your right, towards the exit.
Hi.
Hi.
I also have a two-part question, I'm sorry. But you talked about being kind of a food media outsider, and so I'm curious about, some of the decisions that you made in making this book as like not a cookbook writer that you kind of felt like you had to fight for, and what were those things? And what was my second part?
Wait, let me answer the first question, then you think about the second one.
No, I remember. I'm also curious about, this book is really like you trying to teach the things that you've learned. And was there anything that you learned through the process of doing this book that came to you as like a new thing?
Whoa, those are big questions. So I was really lucky for the first part. My publisher is Knopf, and they work differently than a lot of other publishers. So a lot of the cookbooks out there are published by Clarkson Potter. And because they do so many cookbooks, they have like a very rigid way that they like to do it. So if you do want to do something different, you really have to fight really hard. Knopf only does like 4 cookbooks a year compared to like 40. So because they just do less cookbooks, they let their authors have a lot more free reign. So I didn't really have to fight. A lot of stuff I did was weird though. Like, first of all, the book is really big. The font is really big. I worked with people who, at that time didn't have as much cookbook experience. They've worked with more cookbooks now. So there are things that I did that were different, but I didn't actually have to fight with it. They were very supportive, and they were really the best publisher that I could have asked for. And with the second one, they're kind of just letting me go even crazier. And I learned a lot while working on this, and I wish I could go back and redo it, because the thing that's frustrating about working on a project like a cookbook is I finished it like a year and a half ago, and my writing style has changed, my recipe style has changed, but I learned a lot about how to organize my thoughts and how to work efficiently and how to work alone, because with a cookbook you're pretty much, for like the first part when you're just writing, you are alone. The team doesn't come in until the end, so it's very like solitary and sad for a long time. I'm sweating.
I got you.
Okay, who gets the mic now? I know I see you, but I'm not supposed to give you the mic.
Your next question is still right here.
Okay.
Hi. As someone whose partner is also a chef, when you first met him, did your cooking styles clash, or did you eventually get along? Because your chemistry on Mystery Menu is off the chart. So I was wondering how you two your cooking styles got together.
Well, we're really lucky because we met young. So we've been married 13 years now, and we met when we were really getting started. And I don't really feel like we had styles yet. You know, we had people we admired, and we were pretty aligned on that. We were both really into modernist stuff. We were both really into like Heston Blumenthal and Ferran Adria, and that's kind of how we connected because we were the only ones in school who were into that. But like we like learned everything together, so there wasn't it like it's like we have a lot of friends who are like getting married and they're like, how do you put all your stuff together? I was like, when we got married, we didn't have any stuff. So it's kind of like that. When we got married, we didn't have a culinary perspective yet. We learned it all together. So I think that's kind of been the coolest part of our relationship. We like learned everything together and we got all the stuff together.
All right, coming down to the front here for your next
Finally.
question.
And your shirt matches the book, so
Yeah, I mean, ready to go. First off, thank you so much for coming to Chicago, Sohla. My question revolves around the difference between baking for yourself and baking for someone else. So I always found cooking, I'm a more baker personally, but very personal and sharing it with someone, so sometimes it gets very anxious. But then I also live alone and I don't have any partner or anyone, so sometimes making a whole meal or fuss for myself also feels like too much work, or maybe I'm just lazy, or I don't feel like there's enough value in it for me. Do you have any advice for either making it, you know, more gratifying for yourself or less anxious to make for other people?
Well, I always get nervous when I cook for people, especially when they're coming over. And I don't know if that's ever going to go away, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I kind of like getting anxious. Especially when it's someone I care for or someone I don't see often. I get really stressed, and I'll spend like weeks before asking them, like, what do you like? What are you allergic to? So I always get nervous, so I don't have advice on that. And I find it really not gratifying to cook for myself, actually. It's like the opposite. I really like cooking for other people, and I hate cooking for myself, and when I'm alone, I actually eat trash. And I gotta work on that. It really pisses off Ham. He can make himself like an amazing sandwich, like when I'm not home, and when he's not home, I just buy popcorn. Thank you. Wait, we lost. They were together.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
I just had to do a visual pat down. We're staying right here in the front.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate all of your materials that you've made. I started getting into you when I was on maternity leave. So I have a two-part question. First of all, pregnancy cravings. What happened to you? And then secondly, my sister and I are both interested if there's going to be another gingerbread house competition.
Okay, unfortunately, there isn't another gingerbread house competition because we do those in August, end of August, early September, and that's right when I had the baby. So you can blame her. And pregnancy cravings was all like the nostalgic stuff I hadn't had since I was a kid, like Pop-Tarts, Eggo waffles, cereal. Most of those things as an adult I did not like. But I did love the cereal, and now I like love cereal. It's my favorite dessert. Captain Crunch, Cocoa Krispies. There's another one. What's the one that's like tiny graham crackers?
Golden Chris?
Golden Grahams. That one.
it's definitely like celebrities, they're just like us. Right here. I love that.
I feel way better
And
now.
then when you mix them all together, whoa.
Your next question is still in the front center.
There.
Oh, that's
Okay.
me.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, y'all. I have two questions,
Okay.
but they're connected.
Okay.
Dario and Sarah, without letting us get too deep into your business, why you don't cook? And because this is an educational moment, Sohla, where would you suggest somebody like Dario, who's trifling and don't cook, where would you suggest, what recipe would you suggest they start with in your book?
First of all, why don't I cook? I can't. I don't know. That wasn't a passion of mine. And we talk about this a lot. Why don't I cook? It's not that I don't want to. I feel like the best work goes into anything you do when you actually like it. It's not that I don't appreciate it. She is a damn good cook. You know what I mean? She can make a book herself. But I just don't have that drive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have that drive. I'm a consumer of food. But I do respect the art. It's just, if I was to try to cook, man, I would be frustrated. You know how, like, they say, like, Phil Jackson is a great basketball coach, right? They asked LeBron James if he would ever coach it. He said, I got an attitude problem. I got an attitude problem. If I was that's just not me. So that's the only reason why. Not that no woman empowerment man thing. If that's what you're going for.
He takes pictures.
I do.
of my
I take
food,
some really
so,
good pictures if you follow the podcast.
I cook. He takes the pictures. So,
I mean, if you wanted to cook, do you eat eggs?
As of
but only scrambled.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh. What about an omelet?
I do eat omelets. Look at me, Sohla.
Like a little kid.
No, I do eat omelet. Now I sound like I don't do nothing. Like I do. No.
The thing is, if you lie and anyone here goes and listens to the podcast, they will know that you are lying.
But that's why I'm being honest. I eat it.
You don't.
You know what I mean? I eat it as of 2018. I mean, like, that
I
started working out.
I was gonna say eggs are a good place to start, but maybe pasta.
Oh, I mess up pasta. I almost curse. I love pasta.
Get some pasta. Get like the sauce in the jar, and then this is how I started as a kid. Jazz up the sauce in the jar. You know, like saute some garlic.
Let's stick to the crustables, okay? Let's start there. Yeah, let's start there, and then we work our way up to mixing pastas in jars and shit. You know what I mean?
You're using jar sauce.
Like, it's the most basic.
All right, you know, maybe it's
I'm gonna
just
try.
not your
I'll
thing.
try. I mean, I make a good steak.
That's good.
Right, I make a good steak, and I know how to do the little thumb thing, so y'all can stop. You know, yeah, you know. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. That was good. Thank you for the lesson. Peer pressures of. You know?
Your next question is to your right in the middle over here. Hi.
No Dario questions. This is.
There.
Hi.
Hi.
Big fan. Hi. So I think a lot of people, there's an echo. I feel like a lot of people lately have been like transitioning their careers in the last few years, and you mentioned your transition from like college dropout to restaurateur to food media to now cookbook writer. Could you speak to those experiences and like any sage advice you have for people thinking of switching careers?
Well, when I got into working in restaurants, I was very focused on one thing, and I wanted to be a Michelin star chef. I was like obsessed with it, so I only worked in those kinds of restaurants, and I really, I worked in jobs that I didn't like because I thought it would take me to like the next level. And then when I gave up on that dream, it actually got a lot more fun, because then I just took whatever food job was fun. So I think you should just figure out like what thing you like and just find whatever job will let you do that thing. Because when I was like really focused on moving like upwards, I was just miserable. And sometimes you gotta like, zigzag a little bit and have a good time. And also, I failed like a lot. So I just remember like you're gonna fail, and the main thing is just to keep going, because eventually you won't.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
It's a numbers game. You fail enough, one of the times they're going to work out.
Yeah.
Working out.
We have time for one more question, and it's going to be in the center to your left. Right.
They're about to fight.
Oh,
They're about to
hi,
fight.
what's up? So I work in the restaurant industry. My hours are terrible. I work mornings, I work nights, I work mids, all that stuff. I'm just wondering, how do you feed yourself? Because me and McDonald's have gotten very close since I started working in the restaurant industry.
Honestly, when I worked in restaurants, I didn't feed myself. I just ate at the bodega at night. There was something called the Sohla Special, and it was chicken salad with bacon. It's really hard when you work those hours, and the fact is, this is really sad, but I just didn't cook. I'm sorry.
Fair.
I cooked the one day off I would have. Do you have a day off?
Sometimes. I came in this morning on my day off.
Maybe you can make dinner tonight. It sucks. It's really hard. I have nothing. What a great way to end, huh?
Yeah. All right, thanks. Trauma bonding.
Okay, cool.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you, Sohla, again. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for hosting.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
One more
guys.
time. Sohla, everybody. Yeah.